So, Leicester Tigers versus Bath Rugby. A must-win game to keep our top four hopes alive. A chance to bounce back after that very poor loss against Exeter last weekend. Very poor performance. Up against the leaders at the start of the round. Obviously that's changed with the fixtures today and last night, but it's a much changed Bath side from years gone by. Van Graham has really got Bath playing good rugby now. The likes of Finn Russell has made a massive difference. Ben Spencer, Ollie Lawrence, Alfie Barbary. Yeah, they're a much changed side now and should be really pushing for that top four position, if not top two, come the end of the season. But thankfully for us, they haven't bought their gun side. Quite a bit of rotation from them. But yeah, get on to the teams. The Tigers team. Backline's gone Stewart, Simmons, Kelly, Catter, Brown, Pollard and Whiteley. Yeah, it's brilliant to see Harry Simmons out there for, first start in the Premiership this season. Obviously got injured in one of the Prem Cup games right at the start of the season. I was unlucky, obviously must have picked up a small injury in the trip against Stade Francais, but thankfully it's obviously nothing major, so it's going to be great to see him out there. In the chances we got to see him last season, he looked electric, probably one of our quickest backs, so hopefully he's come back fit and firing. Otherwise, obviously the injuries are hitting a little with having Mike Brown on the wing, who is still solid. He's not going to let you down, especially with the conditions. I think it's actually not meant to rain tomorrow, but I think it's going to be very blustery, so expect a kick-heavy game. So to have someone like that on the wing is going to be great for us. Obviously, Whiteley coming into the starting 9 shirt with Young's injury. Apart from that, as expected, hopefully we don't have Pollard's twin brother tomorrow afternoon compared to the one against Exeter. I'm sure he'll be well up to show his class after last week's poor showing. Onto the pack, sorry. Cronin, Montoya, Hayes, Martin, Chesham, Rogerson, Reffel and Visa. Strangely enough, the first ever time that Martin and Chesham have started in the second row together. Seems absolutely mental that they've not started together so far, but obviously they're the two locks that hopefully will be playing for us for the next 10 years plus. Yeah, just a brilliant combination between the two. Both add very different, but yeah, that's going to be exciting to see them together. Rogerson at 6, I think he's only played there once before for us, at least started at 6 for us. For me, I think that is his strongest position. Obviously well equipped to play at 7 or 8, but I think 6 is his best position, so going to be good to see that. And then Tommy Reffel being back. I feel like we missed him a lot last week against Exeter. So to have him back fit is going to be, make an absolute massive difference for us. Onto the bench, Theobald Thomas, Van Veek, Hurd, Wells, Hatherall, Cracknell, Powell and Shilcock. Obviously the first time that McKellar has put out the 6-2 bench. Whether that's tactical or injury related, for me I think that might be actually a bit of both. Obviously we're going to look to try and attack them with our power game, with our set piece, with our line out. So obviously makes a lot of sense with the 6-2, but also our injuries are hitting us hard now, especially in the back 3 department. I wouldn't be surprised if that was actually a mix of the tactical and the injury related. But yeah, again, as I already said, injuries are affected us now, but it's still a very strong team. Having Hatherall and Cracknell off the bench in the second half is brilliant. They both had massive impact, and Wells was brilliant, as I've already talked about in that off the bench against Stad. Yeah, not much more to say, just a very strong Tigers team. But we've said that a few times this season and it's not turned out to be good enough. Onto the Bath side, yeah, they've rotated. Obviously we rotated in that away trip to Stad. They didn't, they went full bore in both of their Champions Cup games, so it kind of maybe makes sense that they're going to rotate a little eventually, and they've obviously picked this game. So they've got a back line of Harris, de Glanville, Ajomo, but Gallagher, Bailey, Schroeder. Harris is a very exciting fullback, was one of the stars of the England under-20s campaign during the World Cup. Ajomo is obviously another very exciting young centre, obviously probably being a bit overshadowed by Ollie Lawrence so far this season. Orlando Bailey, another young, exciting fly-half coming through the ranks, and he will have learnt absolutely loads working behind Finn Russell this season. So it's a young, it's an exciting, it's a quick, obviously not got the star names of Thokonasiga, Lawrence, Spencer, but still a very decent back line. Into the pack, gone Showman, Favour, Stewart, Rue, McNally, Van Velser, Cloulty and Coetzee. Yeah, missing a few names there, but still a very, very strong pack. Few internationals in there. That South African back row is obviously very strong. Yeah, it's a decent pack. Missing a few names. Stewart at scrum time is going to be exciting to see how he gets on against Cronin. Onto the bench, Stewart, Detroit, Yonker, Richards, Reed, Carl Smith, Hennesley and Owen. Obviously, who'd have thought that their tight head would be one of the top scorers, loose head rather. Thomas Detroit has obviously scored, was it 5 tries this season? He's been, scoring tries for fun. But otherwise, it's a bit more of an experienced bench, something that maybe could make a difference in the second half. Obviously, we've got quite a lot of experience and a lot of impact off the bench, but yeah, as already said, rotated, missing quite a few of their big names. Finn Russell probably didn't want to get schooled again against Jamie Shilcock as he did at the Rec earlier in the season. But lots of young talent, obviously plenty of momentum, top of the tree at the start of this round. Not won at Ralford Road for a good few years now, so they'll be completely up for it. Yeah, I touched on the fact that we've been stronger on paper multiple times this season. I think back to the Bristol game, I think back to last week, and it's not come true, has it? So hopefully that changes, because on paper I think we're the better side, but it's all about what happens during those 80 minutes. They'll be hurting as well from that last minute loss at home a few months ago, which was a very tight, cagey game. Obviously weather affected that game quite a lot, could affect tomorrow as well. But prediction, I've gone the Tigers by 10. I think after last week, McKellar will be expecting a massive response, especially from the big lads. Andre Pollard, I'm sure he's going to have a massive game. Montoya, who I thought was fairly quiet last week, is going to have a big game. I think we should have enough quality to get the job done, especially off the bench. I think in that second half we could pull away a little bit. It'd be great to get the bonus point, but it's just 4 points is an absolute necessity if we want any chance of getting top 4 this season. We're already quite a way adrift already. But yeah, prediction Tigers by 10 for me, but it should be a brilliant game. Full house, I think it's going to be. New Year's Eve, Bath at Welford Road. It's the old rivalry. It's bags of history. Should be an absolutely brilliant atmosphere. Should be a brilliant game, and hopefully we can end the 2023 with a win. It's been an absolute crazy year in terms of Tigers, but hopefully we can finish on a high and get the 4 or 5 points and head into 2024 with all opportunities aplenty in terms of top 4 in the Champions Cup. But yeah, proper excited for this. Full house of Welford Road, nothing better than that, and hopefully see a few there.